Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday Snippet, the Snippet Sundays, and this is Michelle Stelling. If you haven't joined us before, we are on part 2 of the card design classes. We're going to talk a little bit about templates today. Wow, my lipstick is pretty darn dark. It looks a little darker on camera. So anyway, I thought I would be a little snazzy today with my leopard print. I've been looking for a leopard print for a long time and finally found one at Marshall's for $7.95. So I'm excited. You know that I'm a frugal gal if you've been with me for a while. But hopefully you will enjoy this 4-part series. If you want to check out the others, if you want to check out number 1, that is, and next week will be number 2, and then the following, so pretty much the month of January is going to be all about card design. So you can go to our blog at naods.com/blog so you can find out where all of our other videos are. So stay tuned. Bye for now. So the 2 that we're going to do today are, let me get my little notes here so I remember what kit I used. Okay, so we're going to do this one, which the kit that I used is Spring-a-Ling with Snickerdoodle Designs by Karen. And then this one is from Vicki, our other instructor, Robinson, and she's from O Scraps. She sells her stuff at O Scraps, and this is called Almost Spring. Don't worry if you didn't get that, because it will be inside the membership area, and you can get links directly to these 2 kits. All right, so today's class is called Card Design Using Templates and Droplets. All right. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the differences between a template and a droplet. Now, I can't decide which one I like better, and I'm going to have you guys tell me after you see the differences, and let me know which way you like to do the cards better. At first I was like, oh, the droplet for sure. I like the droplet. And then I did another one with the template. I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I like using the template. But the cool thing is that at the end of the class, I'll show you where you can find these templates and droplets. They both come in the same packet. So if you prefer one or the other, you don't have to buy them both. You will get both of them in the same packet. Now, let me just verify that with Karen. Karen, is that usually how you did the cards for sure? Because maybe it was just the way I downloaded them. Okay. Wait, that was Mary. Says yep, but maybe Mary already bought the packet. Okay, so Karen, with the cards that you have at your store, and we're just talking the cards, do you have always in the cards the droplet and the template, or do you just have one or the other? I said that you had both, and I just wanted to verify. Okay, she has both in there. So if you prefer one or the other, then you can pull that up. Now, here's what I want to show you here. Yeah, the PSD files and the droplets and the PNGs. Okay, so those 3 formats. So let me talk about. I'm gonna turn off my questions box so I can kind of go through this with you. Let me just close out of these right here real quick. So I'm gonna pull up side by side, and yes, I have started the recording, so we're good there. I'm gonna pull up side by side. Let me get this guy right here. Here's the droplet, and then let me just show you the template. Okay, so you can see they look the same, but they're a little bit different. Let me just show you here side by side. I'm going to zoom in just a bit. And also watch when I toggle between the 2. On the right hand side, do you see the layers over here? So for the PSD file, and I'm just going to be talking about the PSD and the droplet right now. I'm going to call it the template and then the droplet. So the droplet is on the left-hand side and the template is on the right-hand side. So I now have the right-hand side active. So you're going to see these layers. It looks a lot less intimidating, I think. And then when I click on the left-hand side, you're going to see something that looks like this. Now, if you open up all of these little drop downs, these are called groups, you're going to see more masking and stuff. So it could be a little more intimidating to you if you start moving layers around all like crazy, but it tends to be a little bit easier because all you have to do is click here to add the photo. All right. Whereas on the right-hand side, you have to clip it into the actual mask. Does that make sense? If it does not make sense, that's okay, because I'm going to actually show you what the difference is. So I'm going to pull up two more side by side. Let's do it again. I'm going to close out of these two. Let me see what the other one was called. This 05, I think, is my other one. So let's go File and Open. And let's bring up the 5. And then this one, I'm going to put it on the right-hand side so it's the same. And then I'm going to go over and I'm going to go back to my droplet and bring up the same one. See, it's called the same thing, only this one's the droplet. Okay, so on the left-hand side, we have the droplet, the right-hand side, the template, which we have to clip it into. So let me just show you real quick. On the right-hand side, we're going to work with the one on the right-hand side. This is my Mother's Day card, so I'm just going to call this Mother's Day. So the first thing that I like to do is go File and Save As, because you don't want to override the original template, right? So I'm just going to go Mother's Day, and I'm just going to keep it. Now you can save this as a TIFF if you want to. Everybody kind of does it differently, but a lot of people are saving as TIFF because the TIFF will give them a little thumbnail. Or you can save it as the PSD. So either way. So now I've got this saved as Mother's Day. So I like to start from the very bottom. Everybody does it a little bit different, but I like to start from the very bottom. So I'm going to try to build this with this template. So I'm going to go File, and I'm going to go ahead and place it. Now some people will drag it and drop it, but I'm going to go get and gather the actual piece that I want in the background. And I have what is from the Spring-a-Ling kit. And I like this background here, but I am going to enlarge it just a bit. When I enlarge it, I have to make sure that I have Constrain Proportions checked down here. So I just look at that. Yep, it's constrained. And I'm just going to enlarge it. And I like it so that these pink flowers are kind of outlining the outside, all right? And they're going to be cut off. It's not a big deal. I just want some of that pink showing. See that? So I'm using my arrow keys to nudge it into place. You can double click on it to go ahead and accept it, like Linda did on Thursday. And I'm like, oh, that's right, I forgot about that. So I'm going to show you that again. I go to the next mask, which is the one on top of that. Now, I did not have to clip that because that's the bottom layer, so you don't have to worry about clipping that mask. But the next one you do. So I'm going to go File and Place. And what did I use for that? I use this one here. So I'm going to place that Spring-a-Ling in that area. I can either go ahead and move it into place, or I'm going to go ahead and enlarge it just a bit. I look down to see that Constrain Proportions is checked. And this is where I have to clip it. So over to the right-hand side, I right-click and I choose Create Clipping Mask. There's a couple ways to do it, and I'll show you another way in a second. So now it clipped it into that mask. I'm going to go to the next one, which is this piece. I always turn it off and on just to make sure I know I'm on the right layer, which is this piece, and it's going to be my photo. So I'm going to go File and Place. This is the photo of my mom and my brothers and sisters. I look down here to Constrain Proportions. Yes, it's checked. And if you don't have it checked, you can just hold down the Shift key. And this area is going to be all the way filled up with this photo. Okay, I'm going to double click on the image itself. That will go ahead and accept it. And then I can hold down my Alt or my Option key on the keyboard. And when I hover in between both of these layers, you see that little box with the arrow key that points down? Once you hover over that, you click and you make sure that you then release the Alt key, and now that clips it. This next one is this little strip right here, and I'm going to go ahead and go File and Place. I don't remember what I used, but let's just use this spring-a-ling. It's not going to match the color scheme, but that's okay. And then I'm going to double click on it to accept it. I'm going to hold down my Alt key or the Option on the Mac, click in between the two layers once I have that box. And now this is a purple color, but I don't want that purple color. I do this a lot. I'll use different papers from different kits, but then I want to match it to a color that's on this kit. Does that make sense? So I will use my handy dandy adjustment layer. I love them. I go to the upper third icon over, I hit Hue and Saturation. Now what happens, where is my little guy here? Here's my Hue and Saturation deal. I'm going to click on Colorize. Don't freak out because it colorized everything below it, but that's okay. Then I'm going to come up here again and I'm going to hit my Alt key. Oops, yes, there we go. I Alt key and then you click to clip it. And see how these are both clipped? I know this is a little bit more advanced, but you'll get it once you rewatch this. And then now I can go in here and I can either darken that color, and I'm going to match it to something on this. So I think I'm going to do it right about there. It may not be perfect, but you get the idea, right? Okay, so I go to the very top layer. I go to File and Place. The one piece that I want to use, it's this one right here, Spring-a-Ling Kit 2-10. Place that here, move this down, double click. Either I can right click and choose Create Clipping Mask, or I can do the Alt key and now it's clipped. How's it going, everybody? So that is one way to use the template. Now I haven't finished it yet, but that's okay, because you know that you can then go to the top layer and then you can start bringing in some cool pieces. Like I can place, these little birdies are super, super cute, but I went ahead and used this little flower here. And of course, I'd make sure that the Constrain Proportions is checked, pull that flower in. I think I want to have it right about here. And then I can put Happy Mother's Day down in the bottom left-hand corner. All right, so that's one way of doing it.